So next up, we're going to be checking out Hobby Clubhouse, the 1/44th scale high new Gundam review from Beltorchika's Children. I'm probably butchering his name. The model and Gunpla. I'm pretty sure this is a special movie-only variant, or actually no, a book-only variant. We saw the Char version, and it looked freaking cool before. So this, I guess, would be the equivalent of Amuro's Gundam? I'm not entirely sure if he's the pilot of this or not. Let's find out.
Welcome to Hobby Clubhouse with a review of the Bandai Real Grade 1144 High New Gundam, joining the Real Grade Pantheon alongside the regular New Gundam.
Yep.
This is a Real Grade release and everyone wants to see it, and there really is a lot to talk about. But before we go on ahead, there is a...
Oh, because he didn't put the decals on this one. It's not stickers. Got it. That's why it looks like that.
Of this kit for the HUC
Zero's
High New,
yeah.
which we'll also be seeing throughout this review.
Ooh, we're done to 10 hours.
By
Nice.
to find out all about that slightly old but still lovely kit. Okay, here we go.
How old is the kit?
The Real Grade High New Gundam was released on September 11, 2021.
That's only half a decade ago. I hate everything I just said.
And it sold for a price of 4,950 yen.
So this is the real
The box
grade.
CG is credited to Edo Koji, and the art was finished up by Akatsuki Art.
Yeah.
The box measures 39 by 31 by 9 centimeters, which is the bigger format of the RG boxes.
Oh.
The short side of the box lists this as the 36th release in the RG line, and everything else is repeated from the front of the box.
Oh, so they number the number. They number the number, of course they do. They number how many different releases in the line they've done for something. Okay.
Both sides
Didn't know
are
that.
exactly the same.
What I have.
The long side boasts about everything from the moving panels to the color accuracy that we all expect from an RG kit.
Yeah.
The other side has a few more studio shots and all the legal text.
Oh, they do look good.
Inside the box, we get the high news spread across 14 runners, with the first 8 of them here.
14? I mean, they don't cram these in as much as some other game companies I've seen, but 14 of these!
And then the remaining 6 right here, and we don't get an action base in here.
Oh.
The only pre-molded frame parts are these right here for the funnels, which are reused from the new Gundam.
Oh.
And it continues the trend of having these parts mostly as a symbolic gesture.
Why?
And that's my buddy Hobby in the background right there, who wanted to keep the company, so you'll be seeing him in a few shots. We get a sheet of stickers here with the expected...
Also, the unicorn symbol, really? Was not expecting that one.
Beautiful metallic print.
Also, I don't think I could ever do this Gundam for just this many stickers. I hate the stickers with Gundam. They work well. They look good. They are so annoying to put on.
And lots of marking stickers, which are loved by casual fans and serious builders alike. Well, the metallic ones more so than the clear stickers. The instructions here come as a stapled booklet.
Maybe I'm the weird one on
for
that.
The sticker guide for that gigantic sticker sheet we saw just now, and then there's a color guide at the bottom. The inside of the book is all for assembly instructions, with each major section punctuated with some info on the part you're about to build.
Oh, well, that's actually really cool because it lets you see what choice you're making if there's multiple options.
So,
I don't know why, but this kind of reminds me more of the Wing Zero if they just put it in the UC style.
in the middle of my build, this happened.
And these stickers are
the
needed?
forehead crest of the antenna jumped right out of my hand, and it disappeared when it hit the floor. I couldn't find it no matter what I did, so I had to give up on it, and I just started making my...
I've done that. When I did the G Gundam, or the Burning Gundam, part of the interior to hold the leg in fell in the carpet, and I've never found it, so I had to just glue the pieces together and hope it stuck, and just not move that one leg. That said, I positioned it in the one place I wanted the leg to stay regardless, so it worked, but I hate doing it that way. Oh, it feels so bad to have to glue the pieces in.
my own out of epoxy putty, because I wanted to move forward and get the review done. I got quite far along when I found it finally, after over a day later.
Damn.
And the crest I was making hadn't fully cured yet, so I made this other T-shaped anchor to hold down the antenna, so I could get on shooting the actual review. The piece I made looked like this, and it's pretty close to the original.
Yeah, honestly, his is
even
pretty
though
good.
It's just in a really rough shape.
But he could
It
probably
also fits
butcher
on the
that
head
down.
nicely as well, but in the end, I didn't have to use either one, and that's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a really short story.
Honestly,
with a
his
really
looks pretty
happy
good.
Ending. All right,
Decent
back to the proper
modeling.
review. After about 3 hours,
Oh, God.
we have the High News' entirely new.
Oh, because a lot of them, I haven't done real grade, so I've never had to deal with the internal skeletons, but I've heard they do this a lot more. Oh god, but that is, I mean, on its own, it looks really cool, but
Inner frame, and yes, nothing here is reused from the new Gundam. This is all polystyrene, so there's none of that ABS pre-molded frame slipping nonsense when it ages, though the joints here are overall quite stubborn, and you'd know that if you've bought any recent RG releases.
Stubborn good or stubborn
the waist
bad?
design here is almost identical to the one on the new Gundam, with the double-jointed arm here that can raise up the entire torso. The shoulders are also the RG style of the insane 4-axis combo joints that can swing out entirely from the torso, and it can fully unfurl, and somehow it...
There's so much detail on this one. Like, it looks cool, but putting this together would take forever. I mean, that's not a problem. It's like why you buy these things. They're puzzles.
Can all fold back really neatly when you push it all in. More unique to this kit is the panel under the neck here that can help raise the head a bit more. But that's really nothing compared to the 3-stage bend on the leg, which you may have seen Bandai boast about for this kit.
Whoa.
And it really is amazing to see how the entire frame
transforms. And there's color modeling within it.
Tucked inside
here
that is a set of
so
hydraulics,
cool.
which the new Gundam had too, but this time we get the top section molded here in this slightly orangey gold color, and then the lower part molded in silver, which is a little bit hard to see.
Oh, that actually is really cool.
Further
the silver
down,
look.
we get the silver bits of frame here that can swing outwards, which is for decoration more than articulation. But the ankle joint here drops down to radically expand the swing of the feet, like this.
Does it go sideways or crooked at all?
Here's the arm-mounted machine gun, which has an extending mechanism, all taken care of in the frame, though it's really hard to do without the outer.
I'm sorry, little details like that are my absolute favorite thing of any type of build, where they have reactive pieces.
Armor.
Oh.
Here's a closer look at the funnel containers, which has molded details suggesting a metal cage that
they went all out on this,
all the machinery,
and they didn't have
inside.
to either.
The vent at the end here has a nice silver hood on it, but even better than that, it's linked to the fin funnel dock at the end here, so when one of them moves, then the other swings together. Again, all of this is done in the frame. There's so much detail here that if we're going to look at all of it, we're going to be here all day.
I want to see that again. Sorry, I love reactive details. This is... It's just design nirvana as far as I'm concerned.
There's so much detail here that if we're going to look at all of it, we're going to be here all day long.
Yeah.
But to put it simply, when you buy a real grade kit, this is the kind of inner frame that you have in mind and you really hope to get.
Honestly, if they just set every single piece moved in reaction to another one, I would probably buy that kit right there and not even care what it looked like. I would even deal with the stickers. I mean, I would bitch and moan about every second of it, but I would deal with it, and I would be okay with that. Well, I mean, I would still hate the stickers. That's different. Also, Duck, again, stickers aren't needed for this kit. Most of those stickers are just marking stickers to make it look more real, and they do look really good when you do them, though. That's the problem.
This frame changes
they do really
as it
look
moves,
good.
and it reveals more layers and even more details.
I love the
that tell
detail
you more
reveals,
about
though.
the high new Gundam. So it's not only just amazingly engineered, because it's not as descriptive, and it really wouldn't be something.
What the fuck did I just do? I think I pressed a button.
Not only just amazingly engineered, because, you know, all of
the
kits are, like the Wing Gundam, but on that kit...
this is... Okay, so we have this one, and then we have Wing Gundam. This is also the real grade for the Wing Gundam. One of these things is not like the other. This is just to say there's a frame. This looks like it does stuff. Like, one is distinctly better than the other.
The frame is just not as descriptive, and it really wouldn't be something you'd display on a shelf. But the high-do here is certainly good enough for display on its own. I mean, it's almost perverted that this looks better than some full kits are, and most of it will never be seen by anyone other than the person who built it. But
I mean, I will admit, that's one of the things I do enjoy. There's a lot of different, model buildings that I've done and seen that have details you only see when you're building it, and you almost never have them after that. I think it's meant for people who want to do more display pieces where they blow things out and more, I guess, destroy the model to show interior pieces. But even then, it's just nice to see those little details they put in that didn't have to be there. Oddly enough, the thing I'm thinking about that does this is the cockpits of a lot of Knights and Titans in Warhammer side, as well as the tanks, where they actually have molded insides. They don't need that. I don't know anyone who actually wants those to ever open up because they just end up falling down and staying down, and I've accidentally glued them closed multiple times when I didn't intend to, and you can never paint them. But this just looks so cool when you have so much detail on the inside.
That's exactly what an RG kit promises. It promises us excessive detail and excessive engineering for people who don't mind paying.
Yeah.
But with that said...
I mean, the detail and the engineering is awesome. Also, I'm not sure what you mean by water slides. Oh, are you talking about the sticker style? Yeah, I will not use those. I will never use them. I'd rather just paint the models.
Let's do exactly that and cover all of this up with the outer armor. And then another
It
2
does
hours
look good,
later,
though.
we have the completed High New Gundam. It's gonna take a while to work on this kit because nearly all the pieces except for the frame parts are undergated, so they're all a nightmare to clean nicely, and there's so many pieces. Now this is not a complaint, but you will need to set aside maybe 2 or more sittings to get through everything there is in this kit.
Yeah, some of them
The
do take a
Hainu
while.
has its signature white and blue color scheme, which is only 2 colors, but is split in a way that's gonna make most model kits weep. But really, we've been spoiled because all the previous kits have already long defeated this challenge, so it's kind of easy to forget that we're actually looking at very sophisticated parts and color separation here.
Yeah.
The RG
To
design
be fair, it does look really good. And I think what really stands out is the little bits of gold and silver do stand out a lot more than I thought, but they're also not the dominant part because they're hidden in recesses and shadow.
mixes
well
things
done.
up with the gold highlights
Oh, yeah,
that
just
break
what he
up
said.
the cool and subdued tones, and it sets the kit apart from every other design so far for daring to add one more
Small
color
bits,
to the
but it
iconic
looks
color
good.
scheme. For the RG signature dual tone coloring, the designers went nuts and they skipped every other part on the kit, and they only applied it to some parts, like the blue on the shield right here,
Oh,
which
that's
we get an additional pastel
No.
blue. But
that's
it's
pastel
on the
blue?
funnels that
It's
they
more
really
purple.
flex their skills.
I don't
So
know
the
colors.
funnels imitate that blue gradation that we best know from the MG for Ka High Nu.
Oh, this is another variation of it? This is the master grade. Okay. Oh, yeah, and they don't have the extra colors down here. It's just right in the middle section. Huh.
But the thing is, even for the mighty Furukawa kit, they thought it was more sensible to have the funnels be in all white and then leave the coloring to the water slide decals.
Oh, they did water slide as well. Ugh.
On our kit, the designer said, well, screw that, it's plastic or nothing, and they use a lighter blue tone to
I think if I ever had a choice between them, it would be this one just for that alone, because it doesn't need the stickers.
give us the representation of that gradient on both sides for every funnel.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
will
kind
deal
of a
with
nightmare
more time to put it
six
together
of
than anything
these,
else.
But the kit has crazy colors, and it's
Oh, there's
not
internal
afraid to make
colors.
you put in the effort to make it happen. Another price to pay for the looks is that this kit doesn't stand up, at all. It's so back heavy that by itself, once you let go of the kit, the funnel containers and everything on the back is gonna topple the High Nu instantly. Even if you do a forward lunge, the weight is still just too much for the poor kit. And
What if you pose it where you're doing like an L shape, where one leg is, can you even move the legs to do that with the various thrusters behind it? I don't think you can, yeah.
you just can't handle it.
So
What
you
you'll see
need
most people
something to
do
pose
is
it.
They're gonna use the fuel tanks on the back for support,
But-
which is what I did in some shots like this right here, even though the feet don't sit flush with the ground anymore when you do it.
Ugh.
But the thing is, it worked for a while until it didn't anymore.
It probably
like
put
this
pressure
right
on
here, where the fuel tank started to slip like crazy. We'll talk about the slipping a little bit later, but in the end,
The joint
it's
got
best
loose.
to have some kind of back support for the kit, like this action
Yeah, you need those poses. I haven't actually got those yet, but I might need to just to make them fit where I want sometimes.
base here. It doesn't have to be like this big one right here, but it just happens to be what I was already using for the review here.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject, this is the action base adapter that we get for this kit, because
Oh.
RGs tend not to have just 3mm holes on the crotches for action bases. You need to plug this into the bare back of the High Nu,
Oh.
and then the backpack goes on top of that to lock it in place. And that gives us a reinforced connection for the action base's 3mm connector. This is a heavy kit, so all of this is absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Previously, when I reviewed the RG Wing Gundam, I was really surprised to hear so many of you guys say you were disappointed by the lack of a cockpit door. And
Really?
man, I did make that mistake twice. The cockpit has a blue panel
there's a
here,
door.
which you're gonna need an arrow tool
What?
of some kind to get it open, because your fingers definitely won't fit into this space.
There was a door in that? How do you even see that? Probably because you're building it. That would do it, yeah.
But if you weren't happy with that, this entire section can swing open and upwards for even better access to the insides. Now, we still don't
Huh. Oh, there's no actual figure, though. Most feels like you need to print something out to fit into
get
it.
an Omro figure this time, though, so you're gonna have to get the
I guess you have to
RG
paint it
Gundam
yourself,
for that.
too. That's not
And
horrible.
let's address the elephant in the room that's much talked about, which is the size of this kit.
It's huge.
Specifically, if we bring in the
Oh, it is
high-grade
actually
High Nu
huge.
Gundam, we can see what the problem is. That the RG kit is just huge, and many people have
They
been
made
talking
everything
about
bigger.
how Bandai doesn't seem to respect the scale they print on the box anymore. And
To be fair, depending on the price, that would be fine by me. More Gundam. And yeah, it looks so much better. Not even a little bit.
Well, that's not untrue, because by head height, it really is way too tall. But as it turns out, the extra height may not be as strange as you might think, at least with the RG line anyway. So if we strip down both kits to the torso, we get nearly the same size. I mean, the RG is still slightly bigger,
but it's mostly on the skirting that it looks taller. Yeah.
But it's not proportional to the difference between the
it's the legs, isn't it? It's probably the legs that are more extreme.
Full height of the two kits. So we're starting off with at least something that's close to 1/144.
Yep. Oh, and you can actually see the face is more angular here, where this one it has more of a squared jaw. Huh. And a much bigger cone in the middle.
The main difference comes from the legs, and immediately you can see just how much height they added.
Honestly, the height is big, but the width, there's a lot more girth on this leg. Like, this thing looks like there's a thruster in there. This thing looks like you have it. The high grade doesn't look bad, but the real grade on this, this is you versus the guy they tell you not to complain about. I do mean complain, not compare to
the high new through the legs.
Or be worried.
And if you've watched my RG Wing Gundam review, you might be getting a bit of deja vu here, because designers did exactly the same thing on that kit as well, adding a lot of height through the legs because they wanted more leg. And in case you never noticed, this is actually a characteristic of the entire real grade line, and it's something I felt was taken a little bit too far on the new Gundam. A lot of people...
Why do I feel like whoever was designing these models at this area had a specific, let's go with interest in long legs? Because it very much seems like that if it's that consistent. And yeah, the real grade just generally looks better than the high grade. And some of the high grades I've seen look great, and this, it's distinct.
People love how well made that kit is, and it is a very well made kit, but too few people actually notice or mention how it actually has Barbie legs that are way too long for the torso. And that's part of what's happening here, with the extension of the legs to change the ratio.
Yeah, but also they make it so much thicker, you kind of get around not noticing it here.
Of them to the torso. But you see, they have to make the kit taller this way because the other option is to make the torso smaller to preserve the height that would fit the 1/144 line. But that presents another problem too, which is the cockpit and everything will be for Oompa Loompas if they make it.
They also made the cockpit thinner here. Like, the torso is legitimately more shrunk down around here, where this has a little more girth. It's only a little bit. Like, you can see the divot here is moved up and taller, so it has more of a hourglass figure. Considering we're talking about Barbie legs, that's probably right on the nose.
Smaller.
Or the waistline.
So while I'm not defending Bandai for ignoring the 1/144 scale, my opinion here is that they at least made this choice with some kind of reason behind it, and it's not that they get a kick out of messing with us.
It does
and
look good.
What? I suspect the designers were at least somewhat aware of the new Gundams' legs looking a little strange, because this time the legs aren't just longer, they're actually really thick if we rotate them to the front right here.
They look really impressive, and honestly, the extra color around there does sell it.
Here. So the entire limb is bulked up to balance out that extra height with a lot of width. Now, it just so happens that the high new works with this look because the older artwork always showed it as a very bottom-heavy mobile suit. It was born in an era when this style of oversized limbs and bottom-heavy mechas were very popular. The longer legs didn't pan out quite well for the...
I wonder if it was Ava that really made the slim mech more of the prominent type.
New Gundam, because they couldn't just turn its legs into tree trunks, so the longer legs isn't automatically a good thing for all kits, but ultimately it is a good thing for
even the base looks better.
Katoki Hajime talks about this older look himself.
I'm sorry, but every time I see the real grade on this one, it's a distinct 1-to-1 increase. Like, there's good, and then there's, oh, this just looks better. It just is in every shot.
In an interview
every little detail is just more clean.
Knew, where he says he always felt it was a bit of a shame that the older MG kit lost the chubbiness of the older drawings.
Oh, wait, so it was actually initially drawn as more of a chubby model and it was slimmed down. Oh, shit. I didn't actually realize that until he said it. Which is probably the reason he said it. Also, 1 or thank you very much, 2. Ah, wrong button. So, Pointless Hub has a great series about all the Transformer movies, including long-form video about G1. Informative, has a good sense of humor. Ooh. Just going to add that to the list. One sec. I have a list for that. Transformers. And Caps Lock was on for some reason.
And that was something he wanted to bring back in the newer take of the MS. And guess what? That's exactly what he did through the legs. And now that you notice this, you can't ever unsee the fact that the Verka is actually quite a chubby boy. Yep. And you're welcome. So,
is it just me that I actually kind of prefer Gundams as thicker mechs? Some of the new ones, like G-Quux, for example, being very slim works for it, but also there's so many weird design elements of that are almost missing that they build around empty space. The legs specifically are like that it feels fine as a very slim kit. Whereas some of the older, more chunky style, I like it when they're bulky, when they have tons of armor on them, when it looks like something could explode on it and it wouldn't even reach past like the pauldrons.
Yeah, this kit
Personal
isn't
opinion.
even close to 1/144 anymore, and that's always going to be a thorn on the side. But to recap, the RG designers like to extend the legs on their kits.
I mean, even just look at the detail here. Every detail here looks like an intentional line, where every detail here looks like a mold line someone didn't finish. It is distinct.
Their kits, and at least on the High New, it works out quite nicely. The arms in comparison aren't that much longer, but they do.
But they extended this section right here. They added extra color. They had extra bits that you could put a sticker on. They put the caps on there. Also, this is only $55. You know, again, I'm used to Games Workshop pricing. That sounds perfectly fine to me.
You have a lot more
like not cheap,
and the shoulders are pretty massive.
But comparison, like if this was Games Workshop pricing, this would be insert at least 10 there. Hey, what's up, Just a Guy? Thanks for dropping in.
And take a second to admire just how well the HGUC kits' colors hold up against the amazing real grade, with all the key colors covered on it, even with a little bit of gunmetal poking through the arms. What are much bigger are the wings, which you've probably already noticed are really exaggerated on the RG kit. The funnel container itself is not just larger, but it's basically an entirely different thing altogether.
Yeah, these are just little extra details. This is the entire section that has internal details. I'm not even sure what they're supposed to do, but it looks like something can plug into it.
So it's a little bit hard to compare.
It is literally just better.
So here's an example.
What?
On the new container, the beam saber rack opens up on the other side compared to the HGUC.
Oh, that's cool.
So they're really not meant to be the same design, even though they are the same part of the MS. And for the funnels, it's not just a case of skewing in one dimension, but the entire thing is hit with an enlarging ray. It comes to about maybe 50% bigger.
Oh, you also see there's a gap here, but there's a distinct and obvious one here. I wonder if this would count as something that you should consult with a doctor of if it lasts more than 4 hours.
A totally unscientific eyeballing. I don't think anyone is complaining on this front, especially when the RG designers put all that extra volume to work by filling it with so much mechanical detail and extra color. They're big, but they don't hurt the looks at all.
I wonder if they have the posable thing so you can hold them around the model. I've seen some other people do it. I wonder if they have it here too.
Speaking of big, check out the gargantuan fuel tanks that are way more than 50% big.
To be fair, that doesn't look like a fuel tank. That looks like you're supposed to use it to hold something up and you just need to attach it to anything else. That's a fuel tank.
Bigger. And I suspect once you catch sight of this newer and bigger one, the older HGUC one won't ever be able to satisfy.
I cannot let my wife see this section. It's
you anymore.
If you know what I mean.
But really, the poor HGUC fuel tanks has nothing on the RG one.
I am
not
5 years
size,
old.
Nor in color.
I have
in
a 5-year-old
detail,
sense of
or
humor.
Even in the white plastic they use. You
can even see it's how it's meant to hit both ends.
It's always in these smaller details that RG kits really shine with their
Not gonna live down the allegations.
But while we're on the subject, the gigantic tanks have a ball joint up here on top, so if you pull it out a little bit, it's going to give you room to angle the tank beyond just a swivel of that joint at the very top.
It's significant.
The thing is, the tanks are so big, the ball joint really struggles to hold it in place.
Yeah.
And there will be many times when the tank will just slip. I mean, it sort of works, but it's just not very reliable.
Probably.
What's a bit worse is the clip up top right here. That's the culprit for all the slipping tanks that we saw earlier.
Because it has a distinct lay.
You see, the one on mine right here has a stress mark on it, and it isn't just from me removing it, though kinda. It was already there from the beginning when it was still on the rod. So the grip starts
printed
out really
like that.
strong, but this is gonna quickly give way when the plastic starts warping, and by the middle of me shooting this review, the tanks you see here lost almost all of its grip, and the other side wasn't very much better.
So you definitely need the stand for it, or it just won't work.
You don't have to yank them off the bar as much as I have to, but this will still probably be a thing to some degree in the future of all of these kits. To round up the comparison, the new head deviates from the Izubuchi design on the HGUC, which goes wide as it goes all the way down. The new head tapers inwards a little bit, which is a much more mainstream look, and it's less alien to...
Less alien? I mean, this one looks more like it's wearing a helmet, where this one is also looking like it wears a helmet that is more of a... how to put it, motorcycle style versus samurai style. They're both samurai style, of course, but this one looks like a helmet that would go down and cover the neck, where this one looks like it would come in and stop at the neck and curve around. Like, again, a motorcycle helmet.
Fans who haven't seen too many older drawings of the Hainu. The brow line also sits really low to give it an angry scowl, though it does cover up most of the eyes quite often.
But that also makes them
The face
dark.
repeats the same controversial change as the new Gundam for the RG line, where the chin is reduced way down and the jawline is tucked way up.
True. I will say, unlike the other pieces where the new one or the real grade was a distinct upgrade, this one is more personal taste. And I could see someone liking the other head, and it would be perfectly fine.
Again, this gives us a more mainstream look, and it's...
I mean, there's detail advantages on this one, but the sheer sculpting of it is perfectly fine. If you added paint, it would look great.
not as different from other common Gundam faces, but it's also a bit of a shame that the Hainu here loses a bit of its character in the name of looking cool. A closer look at the new head gives us great details on the vents on the side
That part is
and the
upgrade.
Vulcans on the top, along with the shell injection ports on the side of the head.
Oh, that's what those are?
This little flap here on the back actually has a hinge and it can swivel a little bit, which is really cool looking, but it doesn't actually do anything in practice. Of course, everyone has seen and talked about these gigantic blade antenna, and they really are too big in my opinion. Like someone took a 1/100 part and they just kind of nailed it onto here. I mean, sometimes restraint is good. The eye is a clear piece, as they are with all RG kits, and the camera up top is clear too, running all the way from the front of the head to the back.
I was looking down here to see where they was, but I realized it comes through here. Okay.
You can see right here, which is to say.
So you could probably, if you want to wire it up, get a little LED in there as well. I've heard people do that, but I would never have the patience or the skill to do that correctly.
The back camera is also that same clear piece.
Huh.
To swing back a bit and wrap up the HUs.
I do kind of want to see what it would look like if someone did have the skill to do internal wiring for that alone, just like a tiny little bit. Or even just, I wonder if you could add like a not even reflective, a internal glowing section, like a type of paint that would absorb light passively and glow whenever it's released. Maybe very difficult, but it would be possible.
See comparison, it really is hard to deny that the RG kit is just a much better looking and well-made Hainu Gundam. The HUC is born from a very different design by Yutaka Izubuchi, but if that isn't something super important to you, then it's really not a tough choice here, really. As always, I don't mean to say that the HUC is automatically trash or pointless, but for most people looking to have a Hainu Gundam specifically, then
one is
this
better.
Kit is
Definitely.
A very sensible choice
UV
that
paint?
will be more
Maybe
satisfying to build and to display. Returning to the RG kit, let's have a closer look at the container here with the new blocky ports that the funnels dock into. If for some reason you really don't like the funnels, they look enough like thrusters that you could probably pretend that's what they are.
Yeah, actually probably
they
could
swing
easily.
From side to side,
sure
as
why,
you can see here, and with the armor on, the outermost one becomes even more impressive when the vent moves and the white armor separates from the main body.
Really does
when it closes, the armor rejoins that part and you'd never guess that this part can actually move. This little antenna
that
at the
detail
top
is still
was seen
so
on the
cool.
Vero cockpit as well, and just the same as that one, it's reinforced by filling up this space a little bit between the plastic.
Oh, so that was added in as a structural detail. Thank God for that, because, sorry, again, talking about Warhammer, little things like this where there's those tiny little spikes, they go off all the time. And every damn time I have one of those, it's like maybe 2 months and something snaps it off. Like you pick it up and the air just happens to touch it just the wrong way and gone, lost forever, can't glue it back. I've started kit bashing in the sense where I will just cut these details off because of how quickly they get destroyed sometimes. So having this little extra molding, it looks good and it's not going to break.
Which they disguise as something that looks like a wing, but this is something you might want to be a bit adventurous and hollow back out.
What? No!
The entire wing swings
No, don't do that. It gets rid of so much structural strength. Sorry, I'm very biased because it breaks things so easily. Now, I guess if this is a display piece, you're never going to be moving around like a game piece. It might be more useful, but oh God, no. It actually looks good. Just say it has fins for speed. Paint it red to make it go faster. Okay, considering who the enemy unit was for this one, that would be kind of heretical, but still, it'd be fun.
Peg that it attaches with. And
Damn.
then there's a hinge higher up that gives it a horizontal swivel. And the wings' angle can be adjusted as well. The new stabilizer here is a whole new design with an ingenious twist. So it moves on a single axis and that part isn't very special. But the stabilizer itself has a straight and triangular look, that we sometimes see like on the HGUC kit, but it's just made much bigger here. But
and you could probably
the
move a bunch
stabilizer
of
actually
it?
transforms as well, where we
What?
can flip up this piece right here, and then extend this entire part. And then we can turn the tip downwards to get that hook look that we also see sometimes, thanks to the numerous and chaotic designs that we've had from the Hainu in the past, so we actually get both forms all rolled into one single part.
I really appreciate that. So there's multiple looks of this Gundam, and they built parts that do both. That's so cool, man. Also, turn the goals part? Yeah, I'll have to fix that.
In contrast, the Metal Robot Damashi figure tackled the same problem by outright giving you 2 parts to swap.
I kind of prefer the one they did. I mean, I know the new one is way more difficult, and they probably were building to it. And this is practical, but I love movement in models. It's the best thing, man.
But the RG designers ain't having any of that swapping nonsense. And the part they've given us right here is surprisingly sturdy even when it's fully extended, so it's not going to rattle much around at all. Of course, you're free to configure this part any way you like, you know, open or not, extended or not, hook tip or not, so this is actually a very expressive part. Now let's return to that amazing 3-stage bend of the leg, and of course this looks great, right? I mean, we knew that already. But with the armor on, the leg can open up even further and transform with the hood right here, which lifts up a little bit and it opens up a crack on top, which lets us pull this whole armor
wait,
panel
that comes
out
off?
the drawer, letting the first hood piece swing further up.
Oh, so it looks like there's a bunch of heat being dissipated when you're going for a hard burn. Wait, does Gundam have like burn effects you could add to models? It almost seems like they would.
The silver frames on the side right here swing outwards, which we've already seen. Then the panel on the back here swings outward as well to complete this sideways open up silhouette. The panel on the calf here can also be pulled out, though it's a little bit hard to get any leverage on it and get them out, and quite often they'll just suddenly give way and...
Yeah, I think personally I would just leave them all very closely attached, but that's more just because I would break it and I would lose pieces, and I'd rather not do that.
Come loose. But with some adjustment and some patience, we can have it like this, which exposes even more of the frame inside on the calf. And with that, we have the leg opened up, which is really hard.
That really does look cool. It looks like they're trying to go fast, all bunched up like that. It looks like speed lines, but it looks so good.
Hard to hold and handle actually, but it looks great. Without the panels open, the legs still look amazing, but with it opened up, we get a better idea of how this could possibly rival the Nightingale in a fight.
Really? That's the part? Oh, I guess it's probably just for speed then.
And we're not done yet with the opening panels because the shoulders here can be pulled outwards like this, no doubt a nod to the Verka new Gundam's opening gimmick. This panel up top right here can be pulled up like this, though it's a little bit unclear if it's meant to be pointing up like this, or it's supposed to sit higher up like this.
Honestly, it feels very much like a precursor to the unicorn design where everything just opened. Maybe that's just me, but it does feel like that's a nod there design-wise.
But parallel to the shoulders, the choice is here for whatever you like. One last bit of opening armor is on the back skirts right here, where the blue parts can open as well.
Oh, from the back!
Not a lot, but just a bit to tease you with the extra bit of frame you can see for...
Every time I see pieces that open at an angle like this, all I can think is, that's going to break. I'm going to snap it. I'm not going to mean to, but it's going to happen. I personally don't prefer that design choice. It's cool, but it feels like something that I will regret later.
An extra bit of expression when you're posing the kit.
It is cool, though.
So combined with everything else on the MS, you get a mobile suit that radiates in all directions, and the armor explodes open to reveal so much more detail than your eyes can ever take in all at once. I mean, I'm sure if you love RG kits, this is a big reason why. This is the best of...
This is one of the reasons shields still look so cool in Gundam. Like, are they practical? I don't care. It looks neat.
And as is engineering, and this is what sets the RG Hainu above even kits as strong as the master grade Verka one. Moving on to weapons, we first have the beam rifle, and as we'd expect from an RG budget, the accessory comes to us in full color with the white outer layer, the gray body, and then the silver tip. That tip strangely sort of fits the beam effect part, but not all the way.
Why only partially? Like, do you need to drill out the beam a little more? Is there even enough in there for that?
And the base of it is really skinny, so you probably don't actually want to do this, or else you'll risk snapping the neck of the barrel right here. There is a suggestion of an ammo pack on the bottom here, but it doesn't come off, so this part here unfortunately is just for show. Here it is next to the HGU Caesar's beam rifle, and the new gun really
Yeah, having the extra colors goes a long way.
draws attention to the missing colors on the HG's gun.
Also, how you can see there's actually 2 different mold types here. Like right down the middle, it looks like they just glued them together, but it's 2 different techniques. Or even different plastics used where one is glitterier than the other.
And the more radical proportions, like the bigger tank up top and the longer gun barrel, makes the new gun just handily more handsome of the 2.
Yeah.
The other side here has a small peg that swings out,
Oh,
and this is used to stow the gun on the back.
that's cool.
Where you drop down this piece on the back like this, and then you swing the top part up, and the rifle can be attached onto the back.
Oh, how would you
Next,
even
we
find
have
that
the beam
otherwise?
sabers, which are stored inside the funnel containers. To get them out, you have to lift the door up a little bit to open up a crack, and then you claw out the part a little bit to pull it out, and then you lift it up.
It works. It's cool. It won't fall away. But I look at this and just think, I would forget to pull it out first and break it when I just try and lift it straight up.
The design
It's
itself
not
is very
bad.
sophisticated, but in practice it can be a little bit clumsy as you claw it out. The beam saber handles themselves are stuck on really tightly to the top, so be really careful because the force you need to get it out can very easily snap the slit.
Which I would
The handle
do.
itself is a little bit on the small side, which is how it always has been, and it takes a standard 1/144 beam effect part, which comes in this very rare blue color.
Ooh.
The holding hand has a peg, which the handle can attach onto, so
Is it just me or like I've had some models, like very few that I bought, where the peg doesn't quite fit. It feels way too loose sometimes. Maybe that's just me, but I've noticed that as an issue.
it's anchored down into the hand, and it's never gonna fall and never gonna rattle. Fortunately, the peg here doesn't grip onto the handle as tightly as the rack that stows it. The HEU Caesar's beam saber with the Izubuchi MG design has 2 blades, which makes it an overall longer sword, even if the longer blade itself isn't as long as the one we have here. Additionally, we have a 3rd beam saber here, just like the new Gundam, on the left arm. To use it,
Only the
you
left
need to
arm?
flip open this lid right here, which can be a little bit stubborn. Then the front cover flips open as well, and inside is our 3rd beam saber handle. It's just as small as the others, and it takes the same beam effect part.
But it
and
fits.
Really, they're exactly the same, except for their sculpt, which is ever so slightly altered from the ones on top.
Oh yeah, I see the difference. So where these poke out more, this one has indents instead.
They do
And they also have less around the side.
fit into each other's spots, so chances are, if you play around with them, you're gonna get them mixed up at some point.
And never
because
notice.
It's really hard to tell which is which. But
Yeah.
the HG kit didn't have this, and
wonder
of
why they
course,
would make
the
them look
RG
different.
kit makes sure to include this, and it is very welcomed.
It's a cool detail.
The shield, however, does carry forward the MG design from Mr. Izubuchi, with the jagged cut between the white and the blue colors, but this time with the addition of a bit of light blue as a highlight. For the color, we've already been spoiled by the HG kit's amazing color separation, so it looks a little less shocking to us here, but it's actually still amazing. The shield is much larger and it's much wider, with a lot more
I'm going to admit though, like this is fine. This looks like pattern almost to blend in somewhere. Where this one, that little bit right there gives it so much more menace than this one does. Maybe it's also that these just look more like vents, where this looks like someone's trying to do a skull mask from Bleach. Maybe that's it.
geometry hiding.
That's where my
among
mind
the
is going on
shifting
that one.
colors. The HG shield was already really great, so
Yeah.
it still holds up really
Actually, I've seen some shields that just didn't look that good. Both of these on the back are perfectly great. Like this is just amazing.
well on the back here.
Both of
with
them are
all
very
that
nice.
gunmetal closing up the back. The RG shield mixes in the beam gun and the missiles from the new Gundam into the front of the shield, which is something we've previously seen from the Verka kit. The shield mounts onto the side of the arm with a simple
plugs right in.
rectangular peg that holds it in place really well without
That
any
works.
problems. Then we have the new Hyper Bazooka, which is still a silly name. It's done up in all the proper colors, like the silver for the plates along the barrel. And here's a quick side-by-side against the HG one. And
The extra color
I'm
just
not gonna
does
pick
a
on
lot
the
of
poor
work.
HG Bazooka too much with that single gunmetal color,
It
which
doesn't look
isn't
bad.
even a
The
color
other one
you're
just is
supposed to
better.
see on the bazooka at all. We can see here that they're more or less similar in size, unlike the other weapons, and the
wonder why
HG
it's the same
certainly
size.
put in a lot of mechanical
Or is it that this one was so oversized by comparison to the first one they didn't feel the need to upgrade it?
details,
Might be that
even
one.
though it doesn't have a lot of colors. The bazooka we have this time does
Oh!
have a telescoping barrel, just like the one
Oh, you can arouse the barrel Good to know.
With the RG new Gundam.
Erected
and now
even.
it's like that boy that your girlfriend tells you not to worry about. To be honest, I don't think the default form was too short or anything.
No, it looks
but it's
packed.
really fine, because if you don't care about the extra length just like me, you don't have to use it.
This is going to sound weird, but it looks weirder actually extended. Having that smaller section before either end, it looks like that's actually a mistake. Maybe that's just me, but I don't actually like it extended.
To be honest, care about the extra length just like me, you don't have to use it. And people who want it can enjoy that more.
The more I look at it, I don't like the extension.
Is what I would say if the High-Nu Gundam wasn't so unfriendly to bazookas. I mean, really, all High-Nu kits have this problem, where the funnel container just blocks the gun. And here you end up with a grip like this, which looks okay, but it locks the wing up against the stabilizer, and it doesn't look good.
And you can't do much with it, yeah.
You can try to get around this, but it's just a physical reality that the High-Nu just
unless you tried to hold it in a non-standard way.
Oh, and there's another odd thing. So yeah, the trigger finger hand does fit into it, but it's actually designed to be held with the normal holding hand like this.
Oh.
But perhaps the best thing about the bazooka is how you can finally stow it on the back by flipping down this little panel on the back here.
Ah, so this is basically meant to be details held in the back and not actually put onto it,
which exposes a little clip. The butt of the bazooka has a corresponding notch that attaches on.
Yeah.
It mostly stays in one angle thanks to the shape of the arm that holds it in place, and it won't really stay up in any other angle, but it's fine. The bazooka
does
really
look better
is
that
best
way
when stowed like this to give the High-Nu its full loadout.
Also, it very much looks like it was intentionally designed to look like another thruster at this point.
Then we have the arm-mounted machine gun, which we already saw as the inner frame. The hand dips down and the gun extends out.
Oh, yeah.
The outer armor doesn't really have much to do with the mechanism, so it works exactly the same as we saw it earlier. It's good, it's excessive, and it's just how we like it.
Yep.
And finally, we have the fin funnels, which we've seen for a bit already. They come off the docks up here, and the friction is just right that they don't fall out, but you can pull them off without much fuss. This white side of the funnel is reused from the new Gundam, so it's exactly the same as what would be black on that kit.
Oh.
And you can see some of the leftover pegs and the holes that were used to connect the funnels together in that kit.
I'm wondering if there's actually something they have to cover that over, or they just assume that that's such a little detail you won't see it.
They work with the figurized jet effect parts, though I don't have any of those, so unfortunately.
Oh. And yeah, they have different things holding everything together with the different plugs actually in the effect itself holding it. Oh. That's cool.
I can't show you this here. And all 6 of them do work, and you're gonna have to be patient when you're building the weapon 6 times. And that really can get a little bit repetitive, so maybe you're gonna have to ask a friend or a spouse to help you out.
Yeah, that would bug me. Not horribly, but
the HUC one, so I'm not going to go over all of it again.
They do move, though.
It's basically what you would expect from a fin funnels, and there aren't any hidden catches and gotchas here with it. For the hands, we get a pair of closed decorative hands, and a pair of holding hands, a single right trigger finger hand, and then 2 open palms. You may have heard me say this before, but the closed fists aren't quite as essential on 1144 kits, even when it's a bit enlarged like this.
Oh?
Because we don't actually notice the holes on the regular holding hands nearly as much as on a bigger kit. But it's good, of course, when a kit does include these. The holding hands have a slit inside of them, which we've already seen in action, and the index finger is a little bit raised, no doubt, which is why it works so nicely with the bazooka.
Implying a trigger without actually having to use a trigger. That's a neat detail.
Hands have an additional joint that lets you adjust the ball joints as ball.
Oh.
The lone trigger finger hand ends up being really just used exclusively for the beam rifle, and it will work with other beam rifles too, like the one in the new Gundam, because the hands are exactly the same.
Huh.
Then we have the open palms, which are nice because the left hand doesn't have much to do on the kit. So
I guess it's more just in case you want to pose it for a very specific reason. For people who are probably making dioramas more than anything else.
So you might be using these on the left hand quite often. The ball joint here has an additional hinge at the end, which lets you swing the palm up and down. Onto the articulation, starting from the top. The head goes up a whole lot with the help of the swinging panel on the bottom that we saw earlier. It doesn't go down quite as much. The head turns side to side, but the helmet hits the collar and can't really turn a whole lot.
Yeah, but with all the weapons it has, We did see it posed, though, in such a way where it was very much looking off to the side before anything else. So maybe that would play into it more.
The shoulders swing out this much, and if you pull the combo joint out all the way, the arms swing outwards way past 90 degrees, even hitting the blade antenna. They swing around a full circle.
I guess there's a way to pose it to make it look sensical, but just seeing so much of the joint extended from the armor actually looks off-putting. Maybe that's just my take, though.
If the wings aren't around to get in the way.
It is nice that they have the option.
The biceps allow a full rotation of the forearms.
Oh, wow.
And
Nothing
the
knocking
forearms
it.
can rotate as well past the elbow.
Oh.
The elbows fold up until it hits the shoulder armor.
Okay, that actually I find more impressive. Like, just having something spin all the way around with how they're designed, sure. But having so much of a bend, because normally there's something that just gets in the way. That's actually impressive. I wonder how many people had the Gundam actually just salute because they could.
The hands can be angled on their ball joint, and they can rotate around a full circle.
Yeah.
The waist pulls up on that double jointed arm, and that gives us a bend forward like this. And an incredible backwards bend like this.
Oof.
It rotates side to side, and it can go all the way around if you move the skirt armor out of the
Oh,
way.
and the skirt does move with it, though.
The front skirts swing up this much, and the side skirts swing up not a whole lot. The back skirts swing up, but also not a lot.
Minimal at best.
The entire skirt
I'm guessing
armor assembly can be swung out on an arm like this.
Oh! And with how much the front one does, I wonder if someone just poses it where they're sitting with the legs fully forward.
Opening up the space for the legs.
I wonder why they did
The
that
legs
specifically.
themselves can swing outwards this
But
much, and they rotate along the thigh a little bit.
skirting kind of hits.
But they're actually on the RG style drop down joint, which you can unlock with this panel at the bottom, and they swing the entire leg joint down like this, giving quite a big difference in how high up the leg sits, and it opens up a lot of room for articulation when it's lowered.
It just looks a little off, though.
But you won't often need this because even without dropping it, if you move the skirt armor out of the way, the feet kick up all the way like this. And they swing backwards a lot with the help of that moving back skirt.
Yeah, but...
The leg
sorry, every time I see someone point or pulling the model like this, all I can think is, that's about to break. That's where my mind goes. Because I'm just thinking, I'll push it without realizing there's something next to it. I'm looking right at it, and I'd still think that.
The leg bend we've seen already, and it comes
That
close
is
to
still
180
pretty, though.
degrees. The drop down ankles lets the feet swing upwards this much, and backwards this much.
It almost looks
Then
like they could do a
turn along the
transformation
peg
with
a
it.
little awkwardly, side to side,
Eh.
like this. The toe has an additional hinge at the tip right here, and then the foot can arch upwards a little bit back right
Dude.
here as well.
Oh, and you can see the little thruster in it as well.
It's no surprise that an MS as popular and as high profile as the Hainu has a
Okay. If you don't have the stand, this is probably the best way to pose this Gundam because it looks so incredibly cool. Because it takes advantage of the incredible articulation you have.
impeccable articulation that can do this kneel that Bandai boasted about a whole lot. There's really not a lot more I need to say
And
about
it
this
stands
other
up,
than that it gives
or
you all the tools
kneels
to do
correctly.
any pose you can possibly want, limited only by your imagination, all while not being particularly clumsy or difficult while you do it, so it's excellent stuff. And surely you'd want to see it next to the HUC Nightingale, and you'll have to be the judge what you think about the bigger size, which brings it way closer to the Nightingale.
I think the Nightingale is very impressive, but the sheer articulation in the Hainu, it's a thing of beauty.
Which is just about the same in head height. I think it makes it a little bit more plausible that the Hainu is a match against it in the fight, but it's also true that we know it's not supposed to be this close in size. If we swap in the HGUC kit, we get all of that contrast between their sizes, which is
So that's what it should have been size-wise.
thing
Oh.
going on. And this also echoes more with the RX-78 and the Zeong pair, where the showdown with Char always had him in a larger MS. Maybe the wrongness of the size will bother you enough that you might not want to get the Nightingale to go with this as a pair.
Or, counterpoint, they just need to release a new Nightingale that's even bigger! Oh god, at some point they just should... I wonder if someone's trying to make an IRL version of it. I mean, they have giant mechs over there and in America as well, so might as well.
So hopefully this look right here will help you decide on that. For our standard size comparison, here's the lower end benchmark, the entry grade RX-78. And here's the upper end benchmark, the high grade New Gundam. The extra height and those massive wings give the Hainu so much bulk that dwarfs the RX-78 on the side here. And it comes to about the same head height as the new Gundam, which I kinda mind because now we're gonna get lots and lots of people who think the Hainu is supposed to be the same size, which is like a very reasonable thing to believe, and it really isn't helped now with this RG kit. For a quick flashback, here's the HUC Hainu, which stands nicely in between the two sizes.
Oh.
And as a footnote, I suspect one thing Bandai is considering for sure is to capitalize on how the Hainu Gundam is almost the same size as the new Gundam, and they're gonna adapt the HWS parts onto it. You see, the outer parts of the armor is like all these white runners here, and all of this can be reused because they only need to swap out this gray runner here, which fills up the back of the white parts, and they also adapt.
So this is me not knowing a lot about Bandai's design process, but do they frequently just reuse pieces that look similar or in similar models when they try and update them? I guess that would be a way to save on design time, but is it like, do they end up just with extra modeling pieces that just aren't used that are leftovers? Because it almost seems like that would be an issue if they're not perfectly matched.
Adapt the armor onto the Gundam. Now, this is not to say that they're going to do it with any certainty, and the Hainu itself certainly doesn't have any hidden holes or mounts to help put the armor on, but I know a lot of you are really curious.
Also, Yokai mentioned yes, and Duck said kinda.
And the answer is the conditions are definitely there if Bandai feels like doing it. And for the builders, yes, you can absolutely adapt the HWS parts onto this thanks to the compatible size.
Oh.
With all that said, here's a Hobby Clubhouse 3-point verdict on the Bandai Real Grade 1144 Hainu Gundam.
With the posing especially,
Number
it looks
one,
really good.
It's pure blood, top class Real Grade.
Yeah.
All the great things people say about Real Grade kits you will find on the Hainu. The details, the multi-link joints with the sliding panels, and a complete inner frame, and that real unique Real Grade twist where they add or change or mix up the design.
And the best part is, seeing it without any of the stickers on, and all I can think is, yeah, no, this is perfectly good. I like how it looks.
Design a little bit to really inspire builders. I mean, sure, it has some problems, like, well, it doesn't stand up.
You need the stand for this one,
basic,
or have it kneel.
At least that's fixable, and I imagine anyone would be happy to trade that for all the engineering we get.
Although I'll be the first to admit, if you buy this Gundam and you get a stand for it, and you use the stand to have it stand straight and stiff, that almost feels like a fail at that point, because you can do so much with it, and it does hold that pose well.
That for all the engineering we get in the wings and the stabilizer and the massive fuel tanks that slip like crazy. Okay, maybe they should have worked on that a little bit more.
Also, I'm being told, so for Yokai, here, let me pull this up. They use the same frame for the franchise. Oh, it's kind of like how Seed Gundams all share the same part kits. I actually didn't know that one because I don't actually... No, I think I have a Freedom kit, but I'm not sure if it's the same one. Although it would be very similar, I guess.
And number 2, it's too big. I'm not going to easily forgive this, even though I
personally wouldn't even notice. But again, size doesn't really bother me just because I want it to look cool more than anything else. That said, considering how much space I don't have anymore, that might be a consideration I should care about.
Painstakingly analyze why it's so big. You see, the scales are there for a reason, and we want our kids to work together, and we care about our kids somewhat reflecting how big they are against each other.
I guess more for someone who's dedicated to realism,
that
would
level
fit.
Of deviation. And all
I was about to say realism, and then I remembered, oh yeah, this is Gundam. That feels weird, considering it's not explicitly real. I guess more accurate to the lore. That does fit better, yeah.
Well, this isn't tough to fix. Just be like the HG Getter Arc and just not put a scale on the box. I mean, believe it or not, we're actually probably fine with that. If it isn't 1/144 and Bandai, if you can't make it 1/144, then just don't sell it to us as 1/144. But if you do, don't blame us for calling you out when what you're selling isn't what you say it is. And number 3, it's the best Hainu you can buy.
Oh,
before this,
it does look awesome.
The Metal Robot Damashi Hainu Gundam was probably the best overall rendition of the character to date.
Not entirely sure about the purple by comparison to blue.
But it is a Verka kit, and it has all the worst things about Verka kits. But starting today, we have a contender for that top spot in this kit.
It does
There
look
are
good.
very little caveats here and very little trade-offs. I mean, it doesn't even cost that much compared to the MG, and especially not much compared to the Metal Robot Damashi one. So if we're talking about the best
Wait,
of
they
the
have
best,
metal
then
versions?
this kit has just about all of it in price and performance and
How much was it? I think some people said 55. Also, I'm going to pull up some of the comments you guys made. So if you ever want to see a cool 3D parts for the RG new and high new look, the 144 Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher, the RG Effect Wings, third-party Gundam models. The Effect Wings make some great 3D part add-ons. Oh! Like, what was that? Oh, it's probably what he had earlier is like the blast marks,
right
wasn't it?
out of the box. So that's a review of the RG High New Gundam. It's not every day that we get a high-profile MS released in a high-profile line like the Real Grade, and it's even more rare for Bandai to actually deliver in this kit. So get one when you can, and marvel at those lovely legs like the Gundam pervert that you know you are.
He knows what he's doing.
Thank you so much for watching. Come look us up on social media with up.
I swear, every time I see this, all I can think is, oh, look how beautiful it is. Seriously, man, that is... I'm not entirely sure I like the high new Gundam itself, but I love every little detail in there. And they have so many. Oh, that is legitimately just so cool. So if you guys haven't, you know the detail. Let me know what other really cool Gundams I should check out. Actually, this is how old is that video now anyways? I want to double check that. So that came out 4 years ago. Have there been even further updated versions since then that are even cooler? I don't know, but I want to find out because there's so much going on here. Basically, what I'm saying is if you haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Real video. Oh, yeah, real grade, real video. Yeah, we're going to the real grade videos now. Hit it up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.